In the previous episode of Forever Valley, Franco felt a connection with his boyfriend's daughter, which left him with a feeling in his heart and an idea in his head. In this video we'll see what he's up to. Franco was left with an indescribable feeling after caring for Willow while Brad was away. So he tried to disentangle it by writing a romance novel. Perhaps that would help him figure out what was happening to him. While the young man was pouring all his confusion into his writing, something else was happening in the house. Moira mastered gardening almost without realizing it, and what had begun as a curiosity and a need to help her husband's parents ended up becoming a passion. To honor that event, she decided to create a small park where people could spend their afternoons outdoors. For Franco, the construction of a new lot in the city went unnoticed. His mind was still focused on what was happening to him, and despite talking with Brad for several hours, he hadn't gotten anywhere. If he was honest with himself, deep down he knew what he wanted, but how could he express it, both to his boyfriend and his family? He first addressed the issue with his mother and told her what was happening to him. The woman listened attentively, then gave him some simple advice. If this was what he truly wanted, he would have to make it happen one way or another. Although how reliable is the advice of a woman who steals her daughter-in-law's clothes as a joke? Moira indulges her and pretends not to notice, knowing she doesn't mean it maliciously. Chara continues collecting and cutting gems, as the garden has become almost exclusively Moira's. He helps her sometimes, but only when she feels like it. Leon and Moira felt it was time to expand their family. Their parents were already old, and perhaps it would be good for them to get to know a grandchild. Upon hearing his brother and sister-in-law's plans, Franco began to think about his own. He'd have to do some research. Now that she's pregnant, Moira wants to know more about her origins and whether it could affect her baby. She's discovered some disturbing news on the forums. Many people say that the Sims who started out as imaginary friends were actually humans who were cursed and had no memories of it. There was a documented case of a man who had been a doll like her, but who claims to have memories of a previous life. The man also claims to have spent over a century in that state before being turned back into a human. Moira will have to dig deeper into this if she wants to get to the truth. Franco went to a party Brad threw with the intention of explaining his plan, but later realized it wasn't the right time. That same night, Moira confirmed her pregnancy. One of the first people she told was the woman who is more than a mother-in-law to her. Chara was very happy with the news. In other news not as important as the pregnancy, Leon reached level 10 in athletics, the last of the skills he needed to unlock the police department. This also fulfilled his lifetime wish, Renaissance Sim, maxing logic, painting and athletics. The family is proud of how Forever Valley is growing. Despite having a spare room, Moira chose to put the baby's crib in their room, as she wants to be close to her child. The uncertainty of not knowing if her past as a doll will affect the baby makes her feel a little overprotective. The couple felt like they were too cooped up lately, so they went to enjoy an afternoon in Sunny Park. Finally, after looking at different options, Franco decided on one. He hired a surrogate mother to have his own child. He spent several hours on the phone interviewing the woman who would conceive his child. With the peace of mind of having reached a decision, the young man went to his boyfriend's house to tell him the news. Brad, being the free-spirited person he is, celebrated the news very happily, although he felt a little sad that Franco hadn't consulted him beforehand. But at the same time, he himself had set the rules for the relationship with the young man, and he couldn't deny Franco what he already had. As he played the bass and was watched by his boyfriend and daughter, he thought that perhaps this change would be the beginning of a new era for them. He would have to consider whether he wanted to stay the way they were or move forward a little further. He would have to talk to his boyfriend about it. Speaking of the future, the third generation of the Nothings announced its arrival in this world. Chara and Moira looked at each other for a second, and the older woman, having already been through 2 births, knew that what her daughter-in-law needed was peace, so she kept walking, staying close in case she needed it, but not in her way. The same cannot be said of Leon, who, like any father, panicked when he saw his wife in labor. After a few hours, Lara came into this world under the watchful eye of her father. He has the friendly and brave traits. A new story was born with her. Chara is very happy to be a grandmother and to help Moira rest. She also told her daughter-in-law that she would take care of the garden for the next few days while the young woman recovered. For his part, Franco wrote about the birth of his niece. The book was a success, which made him fulfill his lifetime wish of professional author. This made him collect enough happiness points to buy the acclaimed author reward. With 5 adults and only 1 baby in the house, They often line up to care for Lara. Franco is in love with his niece. Look at that face when he looks at her. Chara approached her son to ask if he was nervous that today was the day the surrogate mother would arrive. The young man told her he was more anxious than nervous. Moira was the first to greet the young woman, and she was smart enough not to mention that Franco had chosen a redhead, like his boyfriend, to be the mother of his future child. Franco showed Hilda the room she would have while living with them during her pregnancy. He was impressed with everything. The young woman went to explore the town. She had fallen in love with the valley at first sight. Perhaps once she fulfilled her mission of bringing Franco Nothing's child into the world, she could stay for a while. Perhaps buy a small house and start a farm. She had always wanted to do that. She would have to ask the man if he would feel invaded if she made that decision. Perhaps even let her see the child without invading his privacy. She and Franco had formed a good friendship during the time they talked about surrogacy, and she thought the man wouldn't turn her down. If there's one family that knows how to have fun, it's the Roussaus, or at least that's what Amélie thinks. She and Tom always find time to have fun together, and they try to encourage their children to do the same. All Adrien knows is that he loves the heat, so his mother recommended he do some sun-filled activities to enjoy it. Fishing seems like a good idea. What doesn't seem like a good idea is for his neighbors to protest right around him. Couldn't they just step back and let him enjoy the warmth of the sun in peace? Baby Adeline not only receives attention from her parents but from her older brother as well. Amélie took a photo of her daughter to add to her collection of photos of her children. The camera she is using was a gift from her son Adrien, who in turn had received it from his friend Willa Curly. With the family growing, it was time to expand the house a little. Now that Amélie's paintings were selling for better prices, they had some money saved to add a larger eat-in kitchen that could accommodate the family of 5. They also planted some shrubs and flowers to give the front a better view. Tom continues collecting because it makes him more money than playing guitar for tips, and he doesn't want to turn his hobby into a job. How does time fly by so quickly? Amélie wonders as she watches her daughter leave her baby days behind. The woman has to congratulate herself because she makes very cute children, if she does say so herself. In not-so-good news, the family pet, Stars, flew away one day without anyone noticing. Roby Gore, Andre's friend, is considering moving to the valley. He likes the idea of getting away from the city more and more every day, although he hasn't saved enough money to buy a house yet. Speaking of Andre, he'd been asking his parents for a while to buy him a computer because he wanted to experiment with writing as well as painting. He's quite the artist. Adeline, on the other hand, already demonstrates logical skills. She is a genius, says Tom as the proud father that he is. Andre, for his part, proclaimed himself king of fishing. Who can deny it when he dresses like this to do it? Another photo for her collection. And another one. Willa Curly came dressed as a gnome to trick-or-treat, as was becoming the custom in the valley regardless of the season. Amélie couldn't resist snapping a photo of her even from behind to add to her collection of gnome photos. Playing tag with her child is what makes a mother fun, even if her knees aren't so young anymore. Andre took to cooking, which Amélie is very grateful for, since she was never very good at it. The family added a second bathroom to the house, something they should have done long ago to avoid embarrassing situations. Tom can't be less than his wife and also plays tag with his son, although he uses an umbrella to protect himself from the sun. Adrien doesn't want to tell his parents they're getting old. Andre likes talking with his mother since they can talk about all kinds of topics such as garbage, for example. She has a unique sense of humor, like saying what she used to cook was garbage. Now the family doesn't have to worry about food getting bad thanks to him. Amélie and Tom were invited to a gala party at the Cully's house. As they never have the opportunity to dress up, they went to the party gladly. Although seeing themselves so well dressed, they preferred to enjoy themselves rather than the party. One very sweet thing they witnessed was Dave Nothing telling Willa a bedtime story. The man is the closest thing the little girl has to a grandfather. Amélie is teaching her toddler skills to Adeline. Not so much for the child to learn, but to spend time with her. André has dedicated himself so much to painting that he reached level 10 of the skill before his mother, who still needs half a point to do so. Amélie wants to remind her son that he doesn't have children or the responsibilities she has. Tom is reading books on charisma to help him achieve his lifetime wish, though he worries that he might not be able to achieve it until the end of his life. The next day is André's young adult birthday, so Amélie asks him what he wants to do. Stay in the house a while longer or move into his own. The young man has until the next episode to decide. And so do I.
In the next episode, we continue round with the Carlys and the Portillos. And tell me what you think of this episode and about Franco's plans to become a father. What you think of the ideas? A little crazy, right? If you liked this video, it will help me a lot if you leave a like and subscribe. Until next time, bye!